الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا البشير النذير السراج المنير الطهر الطاهر الدر الفاخر البحر الذاخر العالم الباهر المنصور المؤيد الرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون. صلاة اللهم صل على. This is a great Eid today, a day of joy and happiness for every mu'min. And it is the day of gratitude, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us such a great bounty and ni'mah. And it is the love of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. And this is a love that we receive it through our parents when we are kids, just like we just heard the kids, mashallah, this youth, the Sunday school students, did amazing job, mashallah, today. They were praising their Maulana. They were happy on the birthday of their master. And everyone was sharing his own knowledge about Imam Ali and his emotions. This is a great blessing, especially in this country where you don't have that environment as we have back home there. And when the parents, they do all this for the sake of keeping this love that we have to Imam Ali alayhi salam, and the attachment that we have, the affection that we have, the relationship that we feel, the love that we feel. This feeling should be transferred to new generations. And as I always emphasize, and especially when I talk to my youth, I say, look, love, usually when you talk about love, love is blind. When you love someone, many times you don't even have any reason why you love him. Just you love. You start loving someone and you don't know why. What is the reason, real, true reasoning behind it? Even some people say that there is a contradiction between aql, reasoning, and love. Ishq and aql have kind of contradiction. If you have aql, if you use your reasoning, you cannot love someone. And if you love someone, you have to give up your reason. And this is true to some extent. If you see the people who just have love, their love lacks reasoning, aql. And if they have aql, they are very careful. They don't love every way. They start calculating everything. The love of Imam Ali alayhi salam is not a blind love. It's a love based on logic and reason. And you see, Imam Ali is the personality that anybody, not you see, why you love him? Because you know something little about him. The more you start learning about him, that who was he, you get to be, in love with him more and more and more. That's why those who have more ma'rifat, more knowledge, more in-depth recognition of Imam Ali alayhi salam, they are more close to him and they love him more. Even see the enemies of Imam Ali alayhi salam, they knew that who is Imam Ali, and they were they hated him for some reasons. They had even today, but still they know that Imam Ali is the personality that should be loved. One day, Muawiyah was the arch enemy of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And Umar As, another very famous leaders of enemies of Imam Ali. And Yazid, everybody who is Yazid. These three were sitting. And three of them were poets. Most of the Arab at the time, it was easy for them to, say some poetry. They could compose poetry easily. So one day, three of them were sitting alone. Nobody else was there. They said, why don't we have a competition on poetry? Three of us. So okay, let's choose a topic. Can you believe that? The three of them, they said the topic should be wide and vast topic that we can really get some points. Not a narrow topic, hard topic, easy topic so we can speak and talk and compose good poetry. They said, okay, what topic should be? So three of them agreed the topic should be the merits of Imam Ali alayhi salam. These are enemies. And they started the poetry, and there are, those poetry in the history. And Muawiyah said, okay, let me start first. He said, الناس أرض والوصي سماء. الناس أرض والوصي سماء. And which means, how can I praise Ali? And how can I compare Ali with other people? This is what he said. How can I compare Ali with other people? While Ali is sky and people are earth. So there is a difference. How can I compare them? Earth and sky. Then Yazid said, okay, let me say a share about him. And he said it. He said, what I can say about someone that was so great and beautiful that his enemies are sitting and praising him. Is what Yazid said. Then Umar asked, he said the shi'r which became very famous even today, in today's Arabic literature, this shi'r is very, very famous. And he said, وَالْفَضْلُ مَا شَهِدَتْ بِهِ الْأَعْدَاءُ. He said the fadilat, the marriage is, real marriage is the one which even the enemies acknowledge. And this is what Ali had the merits, that we don't like him, but still we have to acknowledge that he had the merits and he had those excellence by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salawat Muhammad. His personality was such that if you are a real, true human being, you will love him anyway. And the love will be according to your knowledge. See, Imam Ali has a saying, very beautiful saying. You were just hearing from the students, they were talking about Imam Ali's sayings in Jashn-e-Wiladat. He has one of the sayings, he says, Oh Allah, ما عبدتك طمعا لجنتك ولا خوف من نارك. I worship you, Allah, but because I am scared of your Jahannam, the hellfire, or I have the desire of Jannat. This is not the reason for my worship. People worship. Why you worship? Because if I don't worship, I will go to hell. If I worship, I will go to paradise. Imam says, no, this is not my reason for worship. وَإِنَّمَا عَبَدْتُكَ وَإِنَّمَا وَجَدْتُكَ لِلْعِبَادَةِ فَعَبَدْتُكَ. I worship you because I found you worthy of being worshipped. Because you are such a Lord, a God, that you should be worshipped. So I worship you because you deserve this worship. That's why I worship. This is what Imam Ali said. Now when we talk to Imam Ali alayhi salam, we apply the same on Imam Ali alayhi salam. We say, Maulana, we love you, not because we are in fear of something or in love of something else. Because you deserve to be loved. So we love you for that. Because you deserve it. Really, Imam Ali alayhi salam is the one that when you hear about it, the name Ali, see the word Ali, is a strong word. And it has the attraction. One of the scholars in India, he was a very famous scholar, Zaman Khan. He had so many books, so many articles he has written. One day he said that when I went to Pakistan from India, from Pakistan I went to Hajj, for Hajj. In the plane, when the plane started moving to take off, some people are saying, Na'e Takbir. And everybody said, Allah. So he was actually complaining against people, Ummah, saying, see, what kind of people are these? When they said, Allahu Akbar, they said, Allahu Akbar. Then somebody said, Nare Risalat. Somebody said, Ya Rasulullah. Then somebody called and said, Nare Haydari. Right? And you are aware of this. At least in this gathering, even the people who are not from Indian Pakistan background, they know when they say Nara Haydari means what. So he says that people said, one of them said Nara Haydari. He said everyone with loud voice said, Ya Ali, the way that the entire aeroplane started
shaking with this Nabi Haydari, and the answer was Ya Ali. He said, Allah Akbar, the answer was just regular. Ya Rasulullah, the simple answer. Ya Ali, it has so much power. Why? This is not right, this is not good. Believe me, in the same book, few pages before, he was saying these people, the Shi'as, they don't much, care about Hajj and Salat and Sawm and all those things. And now he's saying, I was going to Hajj and the plane was leaving for Hajj, and in this plane, people are saying, Ya Ali. Come on, you just said that these people don't do Hajj. Then what they are going there? Also, was his, as I said, everything should be based on reasoning. If this is right, I would say wrong. Why you should say Ya Ali with this patient and Ya Allah slowly, Ya Rasulullah slowly? Why? It's not right. But he said, yes, this is what I heard. But if you reflect a little bit, brothers and sisters, this allegation is not right. It's illogical. The reason I'm giving you. When you say Allahu Akbar, it's fine, it should be strong. But the person who is saying Allahu Akbar, do you know who is he? He's a Muslim. Does he believe in Rasulullah? Does he believe in Imam Ali? Not necessarily. But he is just a Muslim, yes, but not necessarily that he should believe perfectly, correctly in Rasulullah and also Imam Ali. But the person who is saying Ya Rasulullah, he's for sure he believes in Allah. That's why he's saying Ya Rasulullah. So when he's saying Ya Rasulullah, you will not ask, does he believe in Allah or not? Of course he believes in Allah, that's why he's saying Ya Rasulullah. But does he believe in Imam Ali? Not necessarily. So when he says Ya Rasulullah, two powers are coming in one. Takbir and Rasulullah's power in one place. But when somebody says Ya Ali, you cannot ask whether he believes in Allah or not. Of course he believes in Allah, that's why he's saying Ya Ali. He believes in Rasulullah, that's why he's saying Ya Ali. So when he says Ya Ali, in this word Ya Ali, all powers are gathered. Takbir, Risalat, Ali, all powers mean Vilayat, Risalat, Tawheed, all of them in one place. If you want to say it in one word, how do you say it? The problem with me is that if I say something and I start thinking that I could not explain it, I cannot go forward until I explain that correctly. I don't want to keep it in confusion. So, you live in, right now we are in Kansas City, correct? Kansas City. So this area, what this area is?
11 words.
11 words? 11 words, right? No, this area. Yes.
Why not?
Kansas City. Kansas City is in Kansas. This is Kansas City. Kansas City is where? Kansas is where? US. Correct? If you go from here to Chicago, you went to Chicago. Somebody asked me, where are you coming from? You said from Kansas. From Kansas City. I'm coming from Chicago. You asked me, where are you coming from? I'm from Chicago. Your next question will be, oh, you live in Chicago. have you ever been in USA? Did you ever travel to USA? Did you go there? Are you okay? I'm in USA. But you just said I'm in Chicago. Yes, I'm in Chicago, brother. Chicago is in USA. So you should not ask me if I ever went to USA. I don't have to go to USA. I am in USA already if I'm in Chicago. But if you go to Pakistan, if you go to Iran, if you go to India, if you go to Iraq, and people ask you where you're coming from, you say from USA. Right? I'm coming from America. They have the right to ask you, have you ever been in Kansas City? Have you ever been in Chicago? Have you ever been in New York? So when you say USA, they can ask you, USA? Where in USA? Which place in USA? We know you are from USA, but have you been in Kansas ever? Yes, I've been in Kansas. How about in Kansas City? Yes, I've been in Kansas City. So when you speak about, so there are three circles. The country, and state, and the city, right? So when you talk about the country, and you say, I live in the United States, everybody has the right to ask you about any city. Have you been in New York? Did you go to LA ever? Did you go to Chicago? They can ask you. But if you live in Chicago, if you live in Kansas City, nobody will ask you, did you ever go to USA? Why? Because there are three circles. The bigger circle is USA. Smaller circle is your state, Kansas. Smaller than that is Kansas City. So if you want to introduce yourself and give them your address, where do you live? The best way is to say that I live in Kansas City. So the people who know Kansas City, they will not ask you, you live in Kansas. You live in United States. They will understand immediately that, okay, if you are in Kansas City, which is smaller one, it means you are in Kansas and you are in USA. So the Kansas, which one is bigger, Kansas or USA? Kids, Kansas is bigger or USA? USA is bigger, of course. What kind of question is this? But I'm asking you why? Because when you introduce yourself with smaller place. With this reference, it doesn't mean that I believe that Kansas City is bigger than USA. That's why I'm introducing myself that I live in Kansas City. It doesn't mean that. I'm introducing myself through this city. Why? Because this city is in the other circle, and that circle is a bigger circle. So if I'm not introducing myself here within this country, I'm not introducing myself as I live in USA. I don't have to say I live in USA. I live in Kansas City. The same thing, there are three circles. Wilayat, Risalat, Tawheed. If I want to introduce myself, I will say I believe in Imam Ali. When I say Aliyun Waliullah, this is enough to tell you that I believe in a bigger circle, which is Risalat and Muhammad Rasulullah. And I believe in a bigger circle, which is La ilaha illallah. When I say Aliyun Waliullah, don't ask me, do I believe in Allah or not? Of course I do believe in Allah. But it doesn't mean that if I say Aliyun Waliullah and Aliyun Waliullah is my identity, it doesn't mean that I am, na'udhu billah, degrading La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah is bigger. But in the situation and in the state of introducing yourself, you have to speak about the smaller circle. The circle which is more focused. And through that, you introduce yourself. The same thing here. This is what we're doing. If you say Ya Ali, don't say, why you always say Ya Ali? You don't know. When you say Ya Ali, it doesn't mean we are ignoring Risalat al-Tawheed. No. In Ya Ali, Risalat is there, Tawheed is there already. So without Tawheed and Risalat, you cannot reach to Aliyun Waliyullah. Without La ilaha illallah Muhammadullah, you cannot say Aliyun Waliyullah. Without entering to USA and then entering to Kansas, you cannot enter Kansas City. So if you came to Kansas City, it means before entering to Kansas City, you already entered to Kansas. Or before Kansas, you entered to USA. The same thing when you say Ya Ali, it means we already said Ya Rasulullah. And we already said Ya Allah. So this is Imam Ali alayhi salam is the one who is the best reference of introduction for a mu'min. And that's why Rasulullah what he said, Ya Ali, la yuhibbuka illa mu'min. And this hadith is very famous hadith, known hadith among all Muslims. No one, no second deny this hadith. Ya Ali, la yuhibbuka illa mu'min. Ya Ali, no one will love you except the one who is mu'min. Only the person who is true mu'min, believer, a good Muslim will love you, Ya Ali. وَلَا يَبْغُضُكَ إِلَّا كَافِرٌ أَوْ مُنَافِقٌ. And no one will hate you, Ya Ali, except the one who is either kafir or munafiq. This is Ali. Imam Ali alayhi salam. And Quran speaks from beginning, from Surah Al-Hamd to end with Nas, believe me. Everywhere you will find fada'il and merits of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salam. From childhood, we should teach our kids, give them the love of Ahlul Bayt. We have to put all our efforts. Why? Because this is a knowledge. As I said, love of Imam Ali is based on knowledge. But this knowledge you have to give them from childhood. Otherwise, it will be hard for them afterwards to understand the way it should be. Whoever is sitting here, this side. First credit goes to you for sitting here to this side. You understand what I'm saying? The ladies, the women in Islam, why they are important more than, why mothers are more important than fathers? In this regard of raising the children. Why? Because you learn everything from mothers. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam says, if you feel our love in your heart, man wajada barda hubbina fi qalbi, whoever feels the love of Ahlul Bayt in his heart, فَلْيَكْثُرِ الدُّعَاء لِأُمِّهِ. So he has to pray for his mother as much as he can. فَلْيَكْثُرِ, as much as he can. Always he should pray for his mother. If you're sitting here today, 13th of Rajab, is a great day. This weekend, you could go somewhere else, do something else. If you're coming here, sitting here, and showing your happiness and joy on the birthday of your Imam, This is your iman, this is your faith, this is your love to Ahlul Bayt. And the real credit goes to first your mother, who put this love in your heart. And then when you grow up, you knew about Imam Ali. So many people don't know about Ahlul Bayt. Imam Rabah alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, Rahimallah man ahya amrana, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him, send his mercy on the person who ahya amrana, who keeps our affairs alive. What does this mean? Keeps our affairs alive. Imam says, when he says ahya amrana, somebody who was listening, the rawi, the narrator of hadith, he says that I asked Imam, I said, وَكَيْفَ يُحْيَا أَمْرُهُ? How can somebody keep your affairs alive? What does this mean? Your affairs are alive. I didn't understand. Imam said, يَتَعَلَّمَ عُلُومًا. He should learn our knowledge. Learn about us. وَيُعَلِّمَهَا النَّاسِ. This is what we have to do, everybody who's here in this country. وَيُعَلِّمَهَا النَّاسِ. First, he should learn about us, learn about knowledge of Ahlul Bayt. وَيُعَلِّمَهَا النَّاسِ. Then he teaches that knowledge to other people. Then what he said is beautiful sentence. He says, لِأَنَّ النَّاسِ لَوْ عَرَفُوا مَحَاسِنَ كَلَامِنَا لَاتَّبَعُونَا. Because if people know the beauty of our sayings, for sure they are going to follow us. If they know, for sure they are going to follow us. Why people don't follow Ahlul Bayt? Because they don't know them. So whose responsibility is this? Now alhamdulillah we know Ahlul Bayt. It is our responsibility to try to take this message to other people and let them know, especially in this time when some people trying to defame Islam, defame the message of Islam. These terrorists, see what they are doing around the world. These Wahhabis, their mentality, their violent attitude, what they have made, and what kind of impression about Islam. And the media also is trying, to defend Islam and true message of Islam. They spread so much misconceptions about Islam. So what is our job? Our job is to tell them, look, if you want to see what Islam is, these people are not Islam. They might be Muslims, so-called Muslims, but not Islam. Nobody is Islam. You have to keep difference between Islam and Muslim. Muslims might be wrong. Islam is not wrong. But still, if you want to learn about Islam through people, so nobody in the world is Islam except Ali ibn Abi Talib. He is Islam himself, not Muslim. Islam. What Rasulullah said? بَرَزَ الْإِيمَانُ كُلُّهُ إِلَى الْكُفْرِ كُلِّهِ. When he went in the battlefield to fight against Amr ibn Abdul, some of the students was talking about him. When he was going there, what Rasulullah said? He said the whole Iman, entire belief, the entire Islam, the whole Quran, Kaaba, Tawheed, Risalat, Nabuwat, everything in Islam, the whole Islam, the embodiment of Islam is going to fight against the whole kufr. So Ali is not just Muslim. Ali is not just mu'min. You are a mu'min. If you are. And you are, alhamdulillah. You are a mu'min. You are a Muslim. But you are not Islam. Ali is Islam. Ali is Iman. Baradar Iman, the whole Iman is Ali. If Ali does a mistake, it means Islam has done a mistake. But you cannot find a mistake in Ali. Even the enemies, such, like Muawiyah, he never even tried to find a mistake in Imam Ali alayhi salam. He was enemy. He was trying to harm him, to kill him, to do anything wrong. But he was not able to say anything against his character. Why? Because he was Imam. Ali was Imam by himself. But why Rasulullah said to Amr ibn Abdul, who first time who came to fight against Islam, he called him kufr. He didn't call him kafir. The whole Iman is going against whole kufr. So why he became whole kufr? You're not supposed to be whole kufr. He is kafir. Imam Ali, whole Iman, yeah, you understand. But why he all kufr? The reason is when the whole Iman goes against anyone, or anybody who comes against whole Iman, that person becomes whole kufr. Anytime, anywhere, anybody who comes against Imam Ali alayhi salam, he becomes kull kufr. Everyone Ali, Ali. Ali, Ali. Everyone, brother. Ali, Ali. Yes. Ali, Ali. Ali, Ali. Ali, Ali. Ali, Ali. Ali, Ali.
محمد کا مولا
Ali, Ali.
حضر کا مولا
Ali, Ali.
عیسیٰ کا مولا
Ali, Ali.
ذرا زور سے بولو
Ali, Ali.
ذرا جوش سے بولو
Ali, Ali.
نعرے حیدری
You have no idea when you say one time you say one Ali, how much thawab you get. The word Ali contains all ingredients of Iman and Islam. When you say Ali, you said everything. You should say, don't shy. Teach your kids. Believe me, this love of Ali ibn Abi Talib is going to protect them and help them in all their life. Everything. And once you start loving Imam Ali alayhi salam, you know who is he. Some people say, Maulana, teach our kids to listen to their parents. Something, speak about parents, importance of parents. If they don't know the importance of the person who emphasized on the importance of parents, if they don't know Ali, if they don't love Ali, if they don't respect Ali, how can they respect you? How they can respect you as a parent? If they respect a person really who is millions times better than parents. Do you agree or not? Your parents are great. Without your parents, and a person who just looks to his parents stares to his parents with anger, just looking with anger. Just looking, he didn't say anything. With his tongue, he's silent. Look, this hadith. وَهُمَا لَهُ ظَالِمَانِ. While they have wronged him. The parents are wrong. In any issue, there is an argument between the parents and children, parents are wrong. In a situation when parents are wrong, he didn't say anything, he didn't argue with them, that he looked at them with anger. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam says, that this person, lam tuqbal lahu salat. His salat is not acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will reject his salat. He cannot say, Allah, 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 I love you, Allah, but I disrespect my parents. No, Allah will reject your salah. And also this person is not going to even have the smell of paradise, while the smell of paradise will be reaching to the distance of alf sana, 1,000 years. So strong its fragrance. But this person will not be able to smell that fragrance. So big sin to disrespect the parents. So they are parents. So this is the importance of parents, right? Now compare parents with Imam Ali. How many times we love Imam Ali? 10 times more? 20 times more? How many times more? You cannot even give a number, believe me. If you know Imam Ali, you will not give a number. You say, what? Parents are so great, so important, I know. But Imam Ali is millions, billions, trillions times more important than our parents. So why we should not put the love of Imam Ali in their heart first? And if they have that love of Imam Ali, believe me, a person who loves Imam Ali, he will never disrespect his parents. Never. The person who has love of Imam Ali, he will never wrong anybody. The person who has love of Imam Ali in his heart, he will not oppress anyone. Anyone who has love of Imam Ali in his heart, he will not hurt the feelings of anybody else. Love of Imam Ali, if he has it in his heart, he will not do ghibat, backbite. His character is great character, like Ammar Yasir, like Salman Farisi, like Mirdad, like Misa bin Tammar. His character will be like those people. But if he has only character, apparent character, has no love of Imam Ali alayhi salam, he will be just like these Wahhabis. See these Wahhabis? They apparently look very always Salat, Salat, Allah, Allah. But they don't know anything about religion, about deen. I don't want to prolong my speech, but to give you a strong reference from Quran, so that you can talk to anybody. Whatever I said. Without Imam Ali, you cannot pray. Go. Your prayer will be rejected. When your prayer is rejected, if you just stare on your parents with anger, how about Imam Ali, Qasimul Jannati wal Nar, who is going to distribute Jannat and Nar? But from Quran, it's not emotional issue, brothers and sisters. My children, I'm talking to you. It's not emotional, it's logic. See in Surah Al-Hamd, the people say, okay, you're talking too much about Muhammad. Believe me, I did not even speak one drop out of a huge ocean of Fadail of Muhammad. Not me, nobody can speak about Imam Ali. Who knows about Imam Ali? Who knows? Somebody who knows him, he can praise him the way it should be. Nobody can give the right of praise of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Except two. Either Allah can praise him or Rasulullah can praise him. No one else can praise Imam Ali alayhi salam. From Quran I will give you a reference that without Ali ibn Talib, worship, ibadat, salat, hajj, anything you do has no value. And I'm not going to give you a very hard reference from Quran, hard to remember, go to find, no. The one that you and every Muslim reads. Surah Al-Hamd. You read Surah Al-Hamd? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een. I remember last year also I gave you a reference of one ayat of this. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een. I will give you next ayat. Oh Allah, we worship you. Iyyaka na'budu means oh Allah, we worship you. وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ is seek help from you only. So when you said إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, what does this mean? إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ means, oh Allah, we worship you. But originally the meaning is this. What Surah Yasin, ayat number 60 says. Surah Yasin, ayat number 60. What is talking about? Please pay attention for just few minutes. It says, ألم أحد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط المستقيم. Allah says, look, I took the commandment from you, O children of Adam, don't worship shaitan. Worship me. Who's saying worship me? Allah. Worship me. هذا صراط المستقيم. When you worship me, this worshipping me is صراط المستقيم. So what is صراط المستقيم? Tell me, brothers and sisters. صراط المستقيم is Allah's worship. This is what Quran says. I'm not saying that. Quran says, وَأَنِ عِبُدُونِ. You worship me. Ya Allah, if I worship you, what will happen? هذا صراط المستقيم. This is صراط المستقيم, and you will be on صراط المستقيم if you worship me. Are you with me? Now when you read Surah Al-Hamd, you just read 4 times. Now, 4 times. Every day you read it 10 times. What you said? إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَاللَّهِ, I worship you. It doesn't. It means what? I worship you. Means I am on Sirat al-Mustaqim. According to that ayat. Oh Allah, I worship you means, oh Allah, I am on Sirat al-Mustaqim. So then what you saying then after this? اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Oh Allah, guide me towards Sirat al-Mustaqim. What is that? It's contradiction. Once you say Sirat al-Ibadat is Sirat al-Mustaqim, worship is Sirat al-Mustaqim, you are saying I worship you, means you are on Sirat al-Mustaqim, then again you are saying, oh Allah, keep me on Sirat al-Mustaqim. What does this mean? Coming in circular argument? What is that? This here you have to reflect. Every Muslim, especially these Wahhabis. And this Wahhabism should not come in our community, in our mentality. The love of Ahlul Bayt is base of everything, believe me. If one of my kids here really took this message from me, from here, and he left, he took the message of every single thing. Salah, Sawm, Zakat, respecting parents, respecting elders, being a good human being, all things are included in love of Imam Ali ibn Abi. So when Allah, and the evidence is this here. When you say Iyyaka na'budu, Allah says, okay, so you telling me, you guys, okay, so you're standing in front of me. Allah said, you standing in front of me, saying, oh Allah, we worship you. You worship me? Yes, Ya Allah, I worship you. Okay, if you worship me, it means you are on Sirat al-Mustaqim. But no. If you really worship me, if you are really on Sirat al-Mustaqim, then you have to ask me right now, immediately, after talking about ibadat and worship. Ask me to keep you on the path of those who I love. Sirat al-Ladina an'amta. On the path of those upon whom you bestowed your mercy and your bounties, O Allah. And of course, they are very special people, not regular bounties, special people. So now I'm asking these Wahhabis who say, don't mention anybody, but only Allah, only Allah, only Allah, only Allah. This salat, which is only for Allah, salat is for sure only for Allah. In this salat, Allah said, once you talk to me and say, oh Allah, I worship you, we worship you, this worship is not complete unless you mention those people that I love. And they are Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu. Very quickly, I know the time is almost going to be over, but I don't want to leave the point unexplained. Somebody might say, how do you say that these people are Ahlul Bayt? An'amta alayhim. I will say, challenging any scholar in this world, the whole world. Look, and based on simple calculations and logic. Everyone, a child will understand, a big scholar will understand. There is no choice for you, for anybody, except to acknowledge that An'amta alayhim are Ahlul Bayt only. Why? Here is the reason, another reason. So I gave you this example of ibadat. Although when you say ibadat, oh Allah, I worship you, it is Salat al-Mustaqim already, but Allah wants you to understand that this ibadat is connected with a path. And this path is path of those upon whom Allah has bestowed His special mercy and bounties. And they are Ahlul Bayt. How they are Ahlul Bayt? Because in Quran, in several places, Allah says, Siratillah. This path is Allah's path, not people's path. It's Allah's path. So you're supposed to say, oh Allah, keep me on your path. Even Shaitan, when Shaitan was leaving, he said, I am going to لَأَقْعُدَنَّ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. I'm going to sit on your straight path, your Sirat al-Mustaqim. So Sirat al-Mustaqim belongs to whom? To you, to me, to Allah. It is Allah's path. Okay, so in Quran, in several places, Allah refers this Sirat as His own path. But in Surah Al-Hamd, what you say? اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Allah, keep me on your right path. No. Keep me on the right path of those people. The people are not Allah, astaghfirullah. They are people. It means, is there any contradiction in Quran? So either the path of, Salat al-Mustaqim, either Salat al-Mustaqim is Allah's path or these people's path. Whose path? Tell me whose path. You will say both paths. How both? Either Allah or these people. No. Both. If Salat al-Mustaqim is Allah's path, at the same time Salat al-Mustaqim is the path of these people. Okay, here is the evidence that if this path is path of Allah, their path is path of Allah, it means there are some people who will never do a mistake, who will never do anything against Allah, who will never do a slightest sin. Otherwise their path cannot be path of Allah. The only way their path can be called and considered path of Allah exactly when whatever they say is exactly what Allah wants, and this is called Ismat and Ma'soom. You have no choice. You have no choice but to accept this. Okay, if the only Ma'soom can be the people of An'amta alayhim. Who are Maghdub alayhim? The people of wrath of Allah, upon whom Allah has sent His wrath, His anger. Who are those people? It's so simple. I know the time is over. Inshallah, I may some other time continue from here. Last year I spoke one ayat about this and here. But Maghdub alayhim, I will give you some food for thought. So you can go read. This is Surah Al-Hamd, which every day you read it. The same thing in the whole Quran. Every place you find evidence. Evidence for scholars, for those who use their intellect. Sirat al-Ladina, see, go and read
What
it.
is this? What do they do?
The sequence. Sirat al-Ladina an'amta. Oh Allah, you bestowed your ni'mat. The eloquence demands that the same pattern should remain. And you should say, غَيْرِ الَّذِينَ غَضَبْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ. Not those who you bestowed, who you send your anger on them, who are subject to your anger. No. So you don't say in the same pattern. There you say in past tense, Sirat al-Ladina an'amta alayhim, Allah, the path of those upon whom you send your mercy and you. And the second part, you don't use verb. It's not verb. An'amta, you bestowed is verb, right? In past tense. What is the next sentence? Not those. Now it comes noun. It comes to noun. Noun is in passive voice. Majhul. Maghzoobi alayh. Who are subject to wrath. Whose wrath? Show me. Whose wrath? Everywhere in the translation, Allah's wrath. No, it doesn't say Allah's wrath. It says the people maghzoobi, upon whom there is a ghadab. Whose ghadab is not mentioned. When the fa'il is not mentioned, it's called majhul. So the word is used as majhul, as a noun, and a noun which doer is unknown. Whose ghadab is unknown. Allah is supposed to say, An'amta alayhim, you bestowed your mercy. Ghadabta alayhim, you had your ghadab. No, not ghadabta alayhim. Maghzoobi alayhim. Upon whom is ghadab. Why? Why? Just keep reading 10 times every day without thinking why? How can you get Sirat al-Mustaqim then? Without using your aql or your mind and your brain. The reason is so simple. When you say, oh Allah, you bestowed your ni'mat, the people who are subject to wrath, not your wrath. It's not say your wrath, the wrath. Why? Because now these people are Maghzoob alayhim, are the people upon whom is the wrath of Allah and An'amta alayhim both. So when Allah and An'amta alayhim, anybody who comes against Allah and against An'amta alayhim, he becomes Maghzoob alayhim. So that's why he didn't say your ghadab. He said Maghzoob alayhim. Ghadab on them. Whose ghadab? Read before that. You said Alhamdulillah, so you mentioned Allah. Then An'amta alayhim, you mentioned An'amta alayhim. You mentioned two, Allah and An'amta alayhim. Then you mentioned ghadab. So ghadab of Allah and An'amta alayhim. If these people come against Ahlul Bayt, who are An'amta alayhim, they become Maghzoobi. I hope I tried to explain in an easy way, but go and reflect on it, think about it. Many times when you think, you will find wonders in this Surah Al-Hamd. Wonders. Treasures of knowledge and amazing. So brothers and sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you for gathering here. Imam Ali alayhi salam. Why he is so great? Why we love him? Because he was not a just man. He was justice by himself. Even the scholars did not call him Aliyun Adilun. Scholars, when talk about him, say Aliyun Adilun. Ali is Adil. Ali is embodiment of justice. Ali is not Mu'min. Ali is Imam. Ali is not Adil. Ali is Adil. Ali is not Muslim. Ali is Islam. Everything is Ali. And when you see this Ali, who is the bravest person, bravest in the whole world,
at the same time, he is the most just person. He is the most loving person. He is the most merciful person. See, his character, amazing character. If we just follow Imam Ali alayhi salam in our life, we will be successful in this world and hereafter. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase the love and knowledge of Amir al-Mu'mineen in our heart, inshallah. May Allah count us among the Shi'as and followers of Imam Ali alayhi salam. May Allah keep us on the right path, the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu. May Allah bless our parents who gave us this great blessing and this great bounty of love of Imam Ali alayhi salatu. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us with Ali in this world and hereafter. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq that we be able to transfer and to convey this great love that we received from our elders to our children, inshallah, in generations to come. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this center, this great center, this beautiful center, the beautiful people who are working with sincerity, with love to Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim. The name of the center is a great name. It's the center of the whole universe. You know, Az-Zahra, subhanallah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this center and give you and all of mu'mineen tawfiq and ability and strength to work together with love and with unity for the sake of humanity and Islam and true message of Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasten in the reappearance of Imam Zaman Ajrullah Farajul Sharif and keep us among his supporters and companions. Sallallahu Muhammad
So now we begin the last segment of the program, which is the award ceremony. We will give the trophies to the students who win the competition and also the runner. So everyone just